12 of the NFL's finest quarterbacks have left the comfort of their stadiums and luxury suites for the adventure of a lifetime. These gridiron heroes are used to leading their teams on the field, but can they outplay, outlast, and outthrow each other in the ultimate survival challenge?
You leave everything you have for the guy beside you. We find a way to win the game no matter what. Let's go, baby.
The stakes are high and the competition is fierce. Only one can claim the title of the ultimate survivor. Who will rise to the top and who will be sacked?
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though. That's the problem. I ain't right back. Let's go.
This is Quarterback Island.
That's right. Welcome to Quarterback Island, a magical place where only your imagination and your ability to read a cover two defense while being a killer on the field and a politician in front of the microphone can stop you. Yes, this is it. Your vision, Jourdan, Rodrigue, Steve Wyche with us too. We're wearing tropical shirts and we're going to decide what quarterbacks in 2024 deserve to start the season on the island. This is a big moment for you specifically, Jourdan.
I'm so happy right now. Like when I first heard that, like Randy, let's shout out. That was some excellent work on the intro there. You guys
all
are
on his own, no direction. He just did it. Love it.
You guys are on theme. We have props, by the way. These are going to be really important if you're watching on YouTube. We each have a yes sign and a no sign, very beautifully done by ETP behind the glass. This is Quarterback Island. Shall I explain?
Yes, and welcome, Steve, from your travels all around training camps.
But
Steve's like, what the hell?
It's like, getting to know all the Hall of Famers. That's great. This is the real stuff.
That's the real deal. But I will say this: I am disappointed in that some of the sound we didn't use did not include Jameis Winston, because his hype speech, the week one preseason was almost as good as eating the W.
Okay.
He's the chair of the Redemption House for those who watch reality.
Hey, as we explain with Quarterback Island, there's no rules that Jameis Winston can't emerge and find a spot on Quarterback Island by the end of the season. He's not eligible right now. He's not a starting quarterback, and that's the first thing. But do you want to explain, Jourdan, how a guy gets on Quarterback Island?
Yes, so Quarterback Island, magical place, by the way. High honor. We're calibrating Quarterback Island right now. We're going to cut it at 12. So 12 quarterbacks will be voted onto the island. We will do the voting majority vote. There's 3 of us. For those who are watching on YouTube, you can see this. But if you're not, if you're listening, there are 3 of us here in the studio. 2 very lovely Hawaiian shirts. Nice pattern.
Feeling the aloha.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we're going to go around the divisions, and we're going to talk through different quarterbacks, and we're going to vote about whether or not they are allowed on Quarterback Island. We're going to do this throughout the season. We also can vote people off the island. There's going to be some politicking involved. There's going to be some high-stakes backstabbing involved. Down the line. I'm already trying to buy Steve's votes. So, Greg, you better watch your back, man.
I mean,
so we're like on the island. I mean, it's a survivor tactic.
Yeah, we are there, and I look at it, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Like, what 12 quarterbacks as we enter the season? It's not just who's the best. It's a little vague. You know, I don't know if vague is the right word. It's a little nebulous. Like, what quarterbacks define the position right now? What quarterbacks do you want on that island? Who are the best, but also who are the best long term, who are the best short term?
And we can and that's going to be the fun part, is debating over
Okay.
this. But there are 2 rules that we are starting out with, Greg.
Okay.
I'm looking directly at you, Greg.
Okay.
Right now. I'm not worried about Steve. I'm looking directly at you. Currently injured quarterbacks do not qualify. So Justin Herbert, who would be on Quarterback Island, currently dealing with plantar fasciitis, kind of situation is they hope to have a resolution of this, but situation currently has less of a conclusion than we'd like this time of year.
We don't want to start Quarterback Island with a guy who might not suit up for week 1.
And
we're going to reconvene. It might be as early as week 1,
Yes.
week 2, once we see some data, and then Justin Herbert could get out.
Yes, and Justin Herbert could end up kicking someone else off the island, which this is where the stakes come in. But also no rookies.
Okay. We'll revisit that.
We won't.
Revisit
we will
that.
not revisit.
Let's
no rookies until the season starts, because Caleb Williams could come in and kick someone off. Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, your guy, I saw you tweeting about him. Like,
I was very
They-
impressed.
Oh,
they could-
fanboying. I
they
like
could
it.
come in, but Steve and I are going to gang up on you here because they got to play some real football first, Greg.
We'll get to it when we get to the NFC North. But let's start
He's ready to fight.
NFC East because look, maybe we all have different visions of what quarterback island should be. But to me, I think we start with the NFC East and the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. And it's kind of easy to forget Lamar Jackson last year, unanimous MVP, but there was a second place in terms of MVP votes, and he was the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. So to me, this is one I don't think there needs to be a ton of discussion about. I think Dak Prescott's a pretty logical just choice to start.
I vote yes.
Yes is around.
Yes.
My question is this: what if we don't even get halfway through this? Are we voting people off?
Yes, if
Also yes.
if we get 12 people on, and Eric keep us honest, because I think that's the best way to do it. If we happen to get 12 people on and we get to the last division, then we'll have to kick some people off. But Dak is definitely on. I think we can say Daniel Jones of the New York Giants is not a tough one here. He is definitely a no across the board.
I hope he has his floaties.
Even at his peak 2 years ago, I don't think he ever would have gotten onto quarterback island. Would he have been a top 12 quarterback at some point in the 22 season? Maybe, but I don't.
Yeah, he might have been on the quarterback raft back then.
He was one of the 8 remaining quarterbacks in the 2022 playoffs. But we don't need to spend too much time on the guys who are obvious. Jaden Daniels, you mentioned, is just eliminated. We don't even have to vote.
He's not applicable.
He's not a guy. Jalen Hurts, I'm curious if we need to vote at all or talk about, or if we're in unison here, that we all have him on the island. Yes is
all around.
across the
but
board.
let's talk about it for a minute because
Welcome, Jalen.
Welcome, Jalen. The second person.
He would be good
on
vibes, by the way. I think
Quarterback Island.
It's a handsome man. Adding
it's
to that.
pretty privileged island, you know. Like that was a great Mina Kimes reference there on that show. So I think with Jalen Hurts, I really cannot wait to see what this offense looks like. I can't wait what it will look like with more motion that actually means something, not just motion for the sake of motion.
Right.
Eye candy that actually changes gaps, that actually realigns formations and space. And I can't ever discount what Jalen Hurts can do, with that dual threat ability, especially when he's going to have a really good running back with him in Saquon.
Yes.
But at the same time, the dude can throw the hell out of the ball as well. And he has played at a very high level, quarterback some deep playoff teams, Super Bowl loss, obviously, but teams that even when the defense was doing nothing to help him, Jalen Hurts belongs on quarterback island. Now, if this offense comes out and just craps the bed, then we'll revisit the conversation. But he is an outstanding quarterback. He's on quarterback island.
Yeah, he's got 3 awesome targets too. I mean, Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
But do we take that into account, Jourdan,
Yes,
with
we
quarterback
have to.
island? You almost have to.
I'm going to take that into account
I
with
am.
some of the arguments I'm going to make.
Well, here's the thing with Hurts. I saw that ESPN Jeremy Fowler executive poll. They had him 13th. So
They also thought that Josh Allen was overrated. So
no, but that was one guy thought that. People like to pull. But he was second on that list. They had him 13th. I saw our guy Steven Ruiz, my guy. I'm not going to give him to you guys. I don't even know if you know Steven Ruiz.
I love Steven.
He had him 13th in his quarterback rankings too. So I do think there's an underappreciation of how much Jalen Hurts can do just as a physical threat. And I was really excited that when he got to camp, everyone said after it was a little rocky picking up the Kellen Moore offense in the offseason, night and day, and the ball hasn't been on the ground that much at camp. And to me, he's a no-brainer. People are too quick to put some of these other guys we'll get to above Jalen Hurts. So I'm glad he's on. That's the NFC East. We have 2 on from the NFC East.
10 spots to go. The stakes are rising.
Let's go
here on quarterback island.
Let's go to NFC North. Jared Goff is an interesting one. Let's talk about him before we do any voting, because I feel like he could be right there at the border. At least he's in that area for me.
Correct.
Let's be real. When we made our list, you guys tell me if you're different. There was about 6 or 7 are okay, that seems pretty, he's on for sure.
Right.
There's about 10 that are definitely not on. And then there's about 10 to 12 that I think we got to talk about. And I think Goff is one of those guys. Does anyone want to make a case for or against Jared Goff?
I'll make the case for Jared.
Okay.
I mean, 1, he's a damn good player. 2, he's got arguably I'm going to put one of the top 3 play designers,
Mm-hmm.
and Ben Johnson scheming stuff up for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, great offensive line. They've paid 4 of their starting 5 offensive linemen this year. They've invested heavily in the O-line. And he's got like just studs everywhere you look to throw it to. I mean, so besides being a good player, having a great play designer, great offensive line, we're gonna get into some debate. And I'm not saying he's being carried here because I think he's the proper.
Well, it is the
all of
first
that
thing you
talent.
brought up, though. And to me,
I said he was a great player.
we all
That's the first thing
disagree
I brought
maybe
up.
on what it takes to be on quarterback island. And to me, the teammates don't matter that much because I'm thinking he's on an island. I want the 12 guys who define the position
Can
right
play
now,
in any scheme.
who are playing the best right now. And yes, you're right. If they have great people around him, then we'll look smarter because he's going to have a good season. But I'm more thinking about the guy I want a little bit in a vacuum. And so I think Goff maybe struggles in that front.
You know what, though? I'm okay with Jared Goff in a vacuum. I'm less okay with Jared Goff against some of these crazy pressure defenses. But in a vacuum, to your point, Greg, just in a vacuum, I don't think Jared Goff is out here lowering any floors for teammates. And he is doing what he's asked to do. But he is also, at this point in his career, far less so than perhaps in previous years, elevating along with a group that is peaking at the right time. I think I talk about this all the time. I think pace is one of the sneaky most important things for a quarterback to have along with his organization, not to outgrow the pace of the organization, not to undergrow the pace of the organization, but to match it along with those playmakers, along with the collaborators that are helping this thing go. I'm not saying that, Jared Goff can lift the, Chiefs receivers that we've seen over the past couple. I'm not saying that at all. That's a whole other conversation. I'm just saying he has the right pace. I do think he belongs on quarterback island. I will also say, though, that I flip-flopped a lot of times with a lot of guys sort of in that middle tier to the point where it was like a dunk tank situation. It's like, you're in the water, you're out of the water, you're in the water,
I'll
you're
try
out
to
of the
convince
water.
you out of it because I'm voting no. I'm voting no for Jared Goff. I want to see what you guys are voting. You're
He's
both
on, but he
yes.
might be the first guy to get pulled off the plane.
I agree with Steve. I'm voting yes, but
Okay.
he might just keep one pinky toe dipped in the water.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to avoid an embarrassing situation. If you guys say you like Jared Goff as much as you do, maybe save him the embarrassment of him being on the island and thinking he's all good. This is like when he was on Rams Island and they booted him off because they wanted a shinier model later. What if he
Jared
gets
Goff-
kicked off for Matthew Stafford in a little bit?
Jared Goff tied for 6th in EPA per play, 0.11 EPA per pass play with CJ Stroud and Matthew Stafford. And
Okay.
yes, a lot of factors go into that. It's not going to be the sexy brand of throwing the ball that we see from other quarterbacks, but it's getting the job done.
I'm just saying on this island, things can get bumpy. You can have hurricanes.
You need
You need food. You were worried about him handling a pressure defense. How about a pressure front coming in?
guys,
he might not be able to handle it.
Listen, when you're on an island, you just need one person who you can outrun when the bear's coming. All right?
Okay.
Wow, we're talking squalls
I mean,
already?
Honestly,
we're getting Lord of the Flies is coming in.
I don't know if Jared Goff might be the slowest guy on this island
might
when we get to the end of it. So he might be the guy people are outrunning. All right, let's stay in the division. Let's go to the Packers. Jourdan Love. Do we want to talk about it or do we want to vote right off the bat? He's an interesting case because people that thought he got paid too early, I disagree with that because they saw enough, I think, to know they've seen enough in their building to know what they want
Correct.
for the next 4 to 5 years. It's not just about those 9 games. Now, putting him on the quarterback island of 12 defining quarterbacks in the league, he's going up against some other players eventually that have shown it over a longer period of time. But to me, I'm going to vote yes right off the bat because of the talent is just outrageous. Jourdan, what do you vote?
I'm voting yes for all the a lot of the reasons you said, but also because we're going to talk about some guy. Oh, Steve's going to have a chance to rebut here. We're talking about a lot of guys who are either peaking or potentially on the brink of descending a little bit. There's a lot of guys that we're going to get to that are kind of in that category. I think
Okay.
he is ascending along with a really exciting core group of skill players, of talent, a coordinator that gets him, and vice versa in the head coach. And I think he's ascending at the right time. That's why I vote yes.
I mean, I agree with all that. I'm just looking at the other list, and It's a tiny
You've
island.
already got your fall guy.
I mean,
so.
it's a tiny island.
Yeah.
Tiny island.
So
I
you're
just
going to be Sean McVay. You've got
See,
your
to
fall
me,
guy.
I'm thinking about this
Yeah.
island not just of like who's the best, like who explains the quarterback position, who defines it in the year 2024. And to me, when I'm looking at who's playing on Sunday or it's Friday night to start the season, Jordan Love is right near the very
Yeah.
top of the list of like guys I want to see. And in that offense, which just a great young, I just feel like that's more sizzle. That's more QB Island to me than Jared Goff. So I'm voting yes.
I will rebut
He's
you
on.
on one small point, and you can still vote no if you are not, if you are so unmoved by this passionate speech here. But I think that Jordan Love, if we're talking about embodies quarterbacking, I think he embodies it in so many ways in terms of specifically the conversation about development, about pace, like I mentioned,
Right.
about what it really takes to eventually put all the pieces together as a player and to keep growing and to continue to push and ascend even when all of the millions and millions of things that come upon these players through the course of a career could break them. And adversity and all those things, problem solving, developing, and getting better. And that is one of the key elements that every great quarterback, eventual great quarterback has. And he's already showing very small signs of being able to do that.
I would agree with all that. I'm just playing island GM here.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
he's
only,
doing
have,
island
we only
math.
have 53 spots on the island, right?
12,
I
12.
know that. I'm just playing island GM.
Yes.
He's
I mean,
back.
I can't keep
That's smart.
everybody.
That's
Okay,
smart.
I hear you.
Okay, so we're
I hear
early
you.
in this. If we're taking 2 by division,
Well, that would be 16. So
correct.
that would be
And
too
so
many.
far, we're taking 2
I just
by
say
division.
that Jordan Love man can throw the ball really far, and it's really exciting. All right, let's go to the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy and or Sam Darnold. That's obviously a no if we're counting Darnold. And then the Bears, I guess.
eligible.
I guess the rules are saying that
Not
Caleb Williams
eligible.
is ineligible. I just got to say, like, why not get ahead of things? Again, if you're talking about defining the position, I've seen enough. It's not just the preseason. It's Caleb Williams as a prospect. Like, Caleb Williams, again, bringing the juice, bringing the talent. He is going to be such a big part, I believe, of all of our lives for the next 10 or 15 years. He is going to be building a high-rise on Quarterback Island. Like, he's going to be there. We might as well just put him there now, because who's more important to the quarterback position in the coming year, Jared Goff or Caleb Williams? So I would just put Caleb
Man, you
Williams
can't
right
get the
off the bat.
degree without going to school first, bro.
So what, he plays 1 or 2 games when we put him on?
Yes, we
yeah.
have that power.
Yeah,
We so have that power and authority as the lords of Quarterback
Yeah,
Island.
no hate for Caleb here. He's going to be fantastic.
Because I
but-
agree with you. I do think in terms of the zeitgeist of,
Yes.
of what football is and what
Yes.
quarterbacking is, like, yes, of course, Caleb Williams.
But I think he's going to be that good right off the bat. If C.J. Stroud can be that good right off the bat, then why can't Caleb Williams?
You build a foundation on concrete, not sand. Don't make that man build a foundation for a skyscraper on a sandy
Ooh.
island, Greg. Give him the tools to build a foundation on concrete, then we'll put it over on the island.
You got to hit him with the sun on the end of
Ooh.
that. You
Look
got
at
to
that
sun him
metaphor,
right there.
girl.
That hurt.
Damn.
I got to give it to you. All right. I will
You're
vote.
looking a little.
I will
is
vote
that
no.
Some pink things in your nose.
Yeah.
Get some sunscreen on there.
I feel chastened is what I feel. Let's go to the NFC South. I don't think we're going to find 2 quarterbacks there.
No.
Derek Carr of the Saints.
I have my no sign.
No.
No. I mean, you need a guy who can withstand pressure, not just literal pass rush heat. I think he struggled. Was that?
Yeah, we don't even,
I think
was
that's
that?
we
what
don't even
I
have
think
much
it
of
was.
a conversation here.
No. But also, like, you got to withstand it from the media too a little bit. I feel like sometimes he gets a little sensitive. So I want a guy who's strong, who can stay.
I love Derek, but no. Now we're talking
Yeah.
top 12.
Bryce Young is a no all around. We all hope
No.
the best
No.
for Bryce. Baker Mayfield, nice turnaround. Did
That's
anyone think about Baker Mayfield?
I did not think about Baker.
No.
He's a no.
Respectfully, no. for all of you guys.
Limitations, and yet the closer I've gotten to the season, I've convinced myself that this Bucks team, who I'm going to pick to win this
Yeah,
division,
they're the team to beat.
are a little more frisky and deeper in terms of their talent than people realize. So I think he might be set up for more success than people realize. That's all.
I agree. Just
Okay.
we're talking top 12 here. He may have to fight his way on.
Okay. And the final quarterback in the division is Kirk Cousins, probably the most interesting one to talk about. Do you want to make a case for or against to start off, Jourdan?
I am not putting Kirk Cousins on
Interesting.
Quarterback Island. I had some thought about this. I had a real good think on this particular argument because I am willing. I know we'll get to him in a minute. I am willing to put Aaron Rodgers on quarterback island. And both
Spoiler
coming off of, well, we'll see because we're getting tight on the numbers here, as Steve pointed out. But
We got 3 on.
I just the streakiness. You and Ollie Connolly had a great show episode just talking
Yes.
about Kirk's streakiness. He's gonna do. I believe in Zach Robinson, but Zach Robinson is gonna have to learn. He's got a really steep learning curve, almost similar to that of what a young quarterback would have, and Kirk will help him with that. But I just think year one of this, I know everyone looked at the Falcons as like, okay, they're ready to win now. But I kind of tend to think that they might stall a little because there is relative inexperience on certain things. And I think they're going to get scored on a lot.
Prove it to me, Kirk Cousins. Look, if
I
you
think
had
he's
said
streaky.
yes,
I
I
think
would
he's
have
too
gotten
streaky.
no just because of your reasoning. You got, and I'm spiteful of like, he's almost a little like
The game is bringing the best out of Gregg.
It's like he's a little like Caleb Williams to me. It's like a new team. You're coming off an Achilles injury. You're 36 years old. And let's be real, for the majority of your career, you've been about QB 13, QB 12 anyway. So why am I, even though you're always in the news, giving you the benefit of the doubt? You're not getting on the island, Kirk.
Kirko Chains is not. He can wear the chains.
Wow. We
Kirko
all
Chains
say
can
no.
wear the chains on the plane, but I'm with you. He's not.
That's
not
the
12.
first surprise to me. I thought for some reason I would be on an island.
I consider, but there's a couple other
Gregg
guys.
Island. Greggy Island.
Couple guys. Just got.
Gregg Island would be sneaky fun. It'd be lawful, but it'd be sneaky fun.
God, it would just be constant noise.
It would be
Definition
annoying.
of lawful.
I don't know. I just wanted to make sure. Islands have been getting a bad rap lately, so I'm just wanting, it's all kosher there on Greggy Island. Great food, by the way. Let's take a quick break, and then we will come back and go through the rest of the divisions and determine who is making it to QB Island to start this. Oh, yeah. We're back on Quarterback Island.
Man, what in the name of Leatu? Latu is going on with the drums.
Lords of Quarterback Island. I feel power. So much power.
I am having so much fun, but I'm having even more fun seeing how much fun Jourdan is having. And I do want to apologize to anyone that knows Derek Carr or in the Carr family who heard a sound effect that sounded like a man drowning. That was a sound effect we weren't expecting to use. We had decided against it. It was a little too harsh. Let's actually hear it again now that I've brought it up. Oh, no. Okay, it's too far. First of all, he was never on. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna do that again. But it did make me laugh that you hit it by mistake.
And you called
I'm
it back.
uncomfortable.
And you called it
Well,
again.
I just wanted to
like that.
explain it to the listeners.
My shoulders have tense stuff. But
That was a little much. It was a little much. NFC West. Matthew Stafford. A couple of years ago, I would have thought he would have taken a discussion. You can say yes, Steve?
Yes. Yeah, slam dunk. I mean, Matthew
Yes.
Stafford over the back half of the season was one of the best top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL last year. We know how good he is. He's got
Top
Cooper
2.
Kupp. Over the back half of the season last year?
I
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Now, tight end situation is going to be interesting.
And he looks a little thinner this year.
Skinny Stafford. Yeah.
Looks a
Skinny
little different. Moves so well. I kind
Yeah.
of don't get it. When I was at the practice, I was like, I don't remember. I know he moved well last year, but he looks
saying
like
it's
he's even better. How is he getting better?
TB12.
They're saying it's the tennis, actually. They're saying it's all the tennis he's playing in the offseason.
I didn't know he was playing.
That's
Yeah,
really
so-
good for an elbow. That's
Yeah.
that's
Maybe
really
he's going lefty.
good for a guy
May-
with got an
Yeah,
elbow
maybe.
injury.
Well, that also tells you how good that elbow feels, I think, because you know how hyper fixated he is on any little thing that might be possibly wrong,
Sure, it's not pickleball.
with the arm. I don't
No,
think he's old enough yet for pickleball.
No, we're not into pickleball on QB Island or in the Chris Wessling
only
podcast
real
studios.
sports only on QB.
That's right. And I do love that Drew Brees and Matthew Stafford were both big-time tennis players, but it kind of explains what's happened to American tennis. We lose a lot of the good athletes, to the bigger sports. It's disappointing. Stafford is on. And what a career arc.
firmly on
Yeah.
Because
quarterback guy.
honestly, for most of his career, he was bouncing around that number 12, 13 spot, and yet I'm with you, no brainer. Kyler Murray, does anyone want to make a case that he belongs? I am a big Kyler Murray fan. Steve says yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I am going to argue this to the Crows come home. I think he's a dynamic player. When he's on the field, they win. Like when you look at the losses, Kyler Murray has been off the field, or D-Hop, or James Conner. Like they haven't had anybody else since. I think Kyler Murray is a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. They've got him some weapons. They've tightened up the offensive line a little bit. I'm not saying Arizona is going to be a playoff team, but I think we're going to see Kyler Murray be able to play his best football. He's not going to be escaping the free rusher that came with the old head coach's blocking schemes. He's going to be able to do his thing. We know he's got the bazooka of an arm. We know he's a dual threat. You guys talked about defining the position in 2024. He's the archetype.
Now, Jourdan,
I
as
love this
someone
argument.
who came up with QB Island to begin with, do you see any projection in our ability as voters? Because he is, he played the second half of last season, and I feel like I'm about as high on Kyler Murray this season as I could be. And I had him as a no, and yet I think for the first time, Steve has convinced me that anyone has convinced me of anything. So good job, Steve.
Well, this also
This is a really big day.
This also helps we didn't take any quarterback from the NFC South.
This is
That's
really
true.
big.
We got 5 guys so far now that we have Stafford. We have Dak, Jalen Hurts, Goff, Jordan Love, and Stafford. We have 5 on. But I think you just swung me because I guess I'm viewing it. Maybe we should have a little bit of a projection that I think he's going to be there in the end. So why not put him there right now? He gets me juiced up. I'm saying yes, he's on.
My problem with this, and I have my no sign up, my only issue with this, because I am fully willing and ready to vote him on to quarterback island by like week 3, because I think he's going to have an outstanding year. It is inarguable what he accomplished last year, but I am doing the math, and I've got my names written out here.
And now
I'm doing the math.
Yeah,
and
but you
I've got-
took Caleb away from me. Kirk was on the borderline, so
but
now
quarterback
I'm
island,
ready to go.
Quarterback island is not about retaliation, Greg. It's about quarterbacks.
It's about getting the
we're
vote.
on the slippery slope here.
Yeah, so I
because-
got to say, if I will say, and I'm going to put my, I'm not a mom, but I got my mom voice here, Greg. Like,
Yeah.
if we're not arguing projection with anyone else, we can't just change that for one person. I will tell you, I'm fully ready by week 3 or 4 to watch him play his way onto the island. I think he has the gifts, the skills to do it. Short king, we love that. But also, if we're not allowing arguing of projection as a fundamental principle of the previous, 6 people we just voted on the island, then we can't just arc the rule a little bit for one.
Well, he's
person.
like right on that
I'm
borderline.
looking at the numbers. He may be coming off the plane as well.
It's tough. Yeah, I think just for the show entertainment, it'd be fun to kick some people off too. And so, I don't appreciate you saying a guy that's 5'11" is short. Because I love
Who's
I love
5'11"?
Kyler Murray.
Since when?
Yeah, I'm gonna push.
Breaking news
I'm
here.
gonna push back on that one.
All right,
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Could we go across the board?
How many do we have left?
NFC West. We have 2 more quarterbacks in the NFC West.
No, I mean how many
How many
spots do we have
spots?
left?
Because we just voted Kyler on.
So that's 6.
That's
right?
6.
That's what I'm saying.
This could get-
He's coming off. There's no way.
So should I change? You kind
Yeah.
of did change my mind a little bit with the whole projection idea. So
We have
should we
to
save him
pull
the
off.
embarrassment?
We have to pull him off.
Okay, he's
So
now
he's
a
not
no.
on.
It
So we
was
got
so. Wait,
5.
was I the second person to ever change?
You now have changed my mind back.
This
Kyler's
is Steve.
no.
This is a big day for
On the
us.
same QB. Who knew?
Steve and I are. This is a big day.
And that's because I want to make the case for Geno Smith. I think he is right around that 12th quarterback mark over the last 2 seasons combined. So to me, that's a nice track record. Steve lifts up a sign that says no. Jourdan
No.
lifts up a sign that says no.
Like Kyler, I am ready to watch him play his way onto the
But
island.
he played it.
I-
Watch the 2023 season.
I
Watch the 2022 season.
did. And I heard every minute of you honking about Geno Smith.
When he
and
threw for 4,400.
When
And
he was top 5 EPA in the league on first and
This
second
is
down,
all-
and they can't protect him on third down, and it all falls apart.
this is all numbers. This is all numbers to me too, in terms of the math that we're doing here on Quarterback Island and the predetermined spots available on Quarterback Island. I like Kyler. My no is not like a firm no. It's a bit of a wobbly no, in that I am fully ready to watch Geno Smith play his way onto Quarterback Island and get one of these 12 spots.
I mean, is that just what you're going to say to let people down gently when you're arguing?
No, because I
It's just
believe in
the
Geno Smith.
math.
I think he's outstanding. I
We
think
Well,
haven't got-
because I'm annoyed by this, I'm now putting Kyler back on as a yes. I don't know if you were finished as a yes
no,
or
he's
a no.
off. He's off. I'm looking at the numbers. We haven't
Majority
got to the
rules.
AFC yet. We haven't got to the AFC yet. The AFC is the better
majority
conference.
rule. Get Judge
If I knew
Connie.
I wasn't
you know-
getting Geno on, I would have
Get
put
Judge
Geno's
Connie
not
in here.
Well, let's get to the next guy.
Hey,
Okay, Brock
Greg,
Purdy. See, I truly do believe
Brock
Geno
is
has been a
on.
top 12 quarterback over the last 2 years.
Right, you have
Make
to put
the
Brock
case.
Purdy on.
Purdy was one where I didn't have a yes or a no. I just wanted to listen to what you guys said.
I am, first of all, not going to give Brock Purdy negative marks for his own success and for his own development over the last couple of years. I think he takes more risks than people think he takes.
Agreed.
And I also
doubt.
am not going to, like we've argued from the start here, this has been the parameter I've judged through. Now, it's okay if not everyone judges through that parameter, but through what I've judged through, I am not going to punish a quarterback for accentuating the system around him and vice versa. Like I said, I don't think he's dropping anyone's floor. I think the pace of this offense is that it all raises together.
Is he better than Kyler?
I think that they're both going to be on
They had
quarterback
to, I think they
island.
had to be measured differently.
Yeah.
I think,
Better than Geno?
Yes.
Okay, Steve, go.
So, I mean, my thing, when it's at first I was talking about Kyler. I mean, you talk about all the athletic things, so that's Kyler. But you talk about somebody who not only runs this offense, you watch Brock Purdy. I watch every one of their games. He is a killer. He has got that Joe Burrow final 2 minutes, I'm taking your teeth out approach to him. And I am a huge Brock Purdy guy because at the end of games, at the end of moments, he elevates people. And one of the hardest things to do when you have a superstar lineup is to get all of these guys rocking and rolling consistently at the biggest moments. I am team Brock Purdy all day.
I will also tell you, Steve spent a lot of time up there. I've spent a little bit of time up there as well in previous seasons as he was still developing. And this is not a quarterback who simply does what Kyle Shanahan tells him to do. Maybe he started that way, and that's what helped him really see football in that way and really develop in a very specific way. Very specific, by the way, to all of the little micro details of that ecosystem. That is how they developed him, is like you are basically the AI program of what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. And that's fine. But I don't think he just simply throws points where Kyle points, throws ball where Kyle wants ball thrown. Like, I think there's a legitimate collaboration starting to develop there.
I'm with you, and he's an improving player. And the reason I vote yes in the end too is you're
Oh,
great.
you had us in the first half. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
He was up in the air, but to me, it's more important that that if we're talking about the position in 24, defining the position, I think he really makes it on that count too. And when you said about killer at the end of the games, I just started to think about it. I just double checked it. I mean, they needed a touchdown at the end of the divisional round, or they would have faced
Correct.
an absolutely terrible upset. They get the touchdown. They needed a touchdown and or a field goal 5 straight drives against the Lions.
Yes.
And or else they wouldn't have, and he struggled. He set them up for that deficit, but he gets it. And even in the Super Bowl where, their defense played great through 3 quarters, he needs a touchdown and a field goal to get them
Final 2
to overtime
drives.
and a field
Yeah.
goal in overtime, which it shouldn't be dismissed. He gets them all. I mean, that is pretty.
He's a
It's
killer.
kind of amazing
And
if
let
you
me
think
be
about it.
very clear. We're not saying that because he's on quarterback island that he's like sitting in the throne on quarterback island, which I've just developed and built in my mind.
Ooh.
Which that's a whole other show. I'm saying he is on quarterback island.
Okay.
He could be off quarterback island if he plays poorly or someone plays better.
Okay. We have gotten through the NFC.
And so we're 6 on.
We've done it
Somebody's-
nice and evenly, but I don't know if that's how it should
Somebody's
work because the
Somebody's
AFC
coming off.
is deeper in quarterbacks.
Somebody's coming off.
Let's go to the AFC East. I don't think Josh Allen needs any discussion.
No,
We
he's
are
on.
all
Yes is all around.
giving him a yes.
He's on.
He has earned his right, whether he's QB2, QB3, who knows? He's up there. Tua Tagovailoa, to me, is one of the more fascinating ones we can talk about. Steve, let's just talk about him before we vote at all. You've had a lot of time
Yes.
around Tua. You saw him get paid. What are your thoughts?
I saw him play a full season last year and light it up. I saw a dude whose teammates roll with him. Okay. This is a guy. let's not forget, he came in his rookie year with a head coach who didn't want him, overcoming an injury. Fully healthy the next year, head coach who didn't want him has to change OCs, still puts up numbers. Now he comes in with a head coach who says, okay, I got a guy who can run my system. I got a guy who's good. We got him some players around, and he lights it up. This is an ascending player. He is a top 10 to 12 quarterback in the NFL. I mean, you could sit there and say, oh, he's not this, or he doesn't have the strongest arm. There's a lot of teams that would like Tua Tagovailoa. There's a reason why they paid him. Because if they didn't, he went elsewhere, there'd be someone else who paid him. And that's another barometer here. And we're on the island?
Oh, that's
We're not going to put the Samoan dude on the island?
That's fair. I'm a little confused now because we've put Jared Goff on the island, who I didn't.
He's on the potentially.
I didn't want.
He's got 1 foot in the water.
Yeah,
I actually had Tua above Jared Goff, but probably below the cutoff line for the island.
I do want to say.
And so now that you guys have forced Goff on me, that makes me less likely.
Oh, am I the swing vote?
To vote for Tua. Well,
we
listen
can't
to
have
you.
6 NFC dudes on. Now that I'm looking at this.
We'll see.
I don't think we will.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was going back and forth, he was one of the people who I flip-flopped on so many times thinking about this. And I interchanged him with Jared, and also even with Brock Purdy. I interchanged them together, certainly with Kyler, a little bit with Geno as well. But with Tua, Steve, I know you know this because you spend so much time out there. When you stand, if you ever are lucky and you get to stand behind the way that they run that offensive operation in a live best on best ones period, and you hear all of the things that Tua does before the snap in terms of orchestrating all of the moving pieces of that offense. I think he is being asked to do more pre-snap than almost any other quarterback in the league, first of all. Second of all, what a lot of people don't understand about motion is that first of all, there are a million different types of motion that most of which we never even talk about. And they all are timed off of the quarterback's cadence, the spacing in between certain words, the way that they manipulate calls to sort of send a signal to the offense that we're going to run this motion, even though it sounds the defense like this motion, timing it with the exact snap, the quarterback, building that rapport and trust with the receivers, changing gaps and the quarterback understanding which way the defense is going to move. Because like I said before with Jalen Hurts and that previous Eagles offense, it's not just moving a guy just to move him. It is picking up a gap, putting it under your arm and running with it to another place and moving a defender. And then so understanding the way that the defenses and the voids, especially in zoning defenses, change at that point, the space underneath the shell of the zone defense. And so with Tua Tagovailoa, I flip-flop so much because I do think that he is being asked to do more than most quarterbacks.
So what's your
NFL.
answer?
My answer is yes, and I know I'm gonna kick someone off. But I also have him, like I said, like right on the fringe because you're looking at the record, the struggles late down the stretch of the collective.
And he
at
hasn't
those things
shown consistently, and I do think that should matter somewhat, that he can survive a season and play at a similar level throughout. That's the next level. That's the
right.
You got to play an entire season and be consistent year after year, and he hasn't quite done that.
That's why he was right on the end.
I'm on the borderline. On one hand, like I want to avoid all the Dolphins fans seeing a list where there's only
two and on is real.
Two and on coming
real.
On the other hand, I kind of want you to come after me. So I kind of want to kick him off just to hear about him because it makes me feel good.
Don't tag the rest of us. Just tag Greg.
Okay,
the hate fills me.
Okay, so let me just put this out there.
So he's on. You guys voted him on.
Okay,
I'm out.
So let me just put this out there just because we think some of these guys from the NFC are in shallow water. If you put Tua on Detroit or put Tua with the Packers, is he putting up same or better numbers than those other guys?
I think he's putting up similar numbers. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Yes. So Tua's on.
That's a good way to put it.
But I will
different.
tell you, vice versa.
Jordan Love would be more aesthetically pleasing. But everything you're saying reminds me of like Kurt Warner, and Kurt Warner always is a Tua defender, I believe, because to win that way pre-snap and then with touch timing, anticipation. I mean, so many of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the game have won that way. Joe Montana, his career, people were like, how is he getting this done? And I'm not saying Tua is at that level, but that type of player sometimes does get a little undervalued by jokers like me who just look at the physical traits.
And I want to say, and I'm honking now, I understand that. Thank you for being such a great mentor to me, Greg. But like this is also, it goes even beyond like all of the different, it's a conductor of an orchestra. You're hitting the timpani in one part and you're doing a little pinky point at someone else that's getting the violin, and you've got the clarinet going off and doing some crazy shit. And it's just like, you have to know what all of the pieces are going to do and how the defense is going to react. But then you have a second play. So you get them to react to the first play, and then you reorchestrate the entire thing.
Did you go can right there?
I'm like wildly.
Did you go can? Did you hit the second play?
Can, water, go back to the first one.
My
And so
gosh,
I
there
think
we go.
here's the thing though. It's also about all of the different ways he could throw the ball. I know we talk ad nauseum about the arm strength with Tua, but the way that they're able to do some of the no-hitch throws because of the speed, they have skill players. And again, parameters that I'm using here is I'm not punishing a guy for the skill players here. And all of the speed, they can go no hitch. So you're not hitching in your throw. If YouTube, you can watch me awkwardly do that. You're not hitching with your throw. You're going quick game, but you're actually going intermediate and deeper routes because you have that speed.
Yep.
And you still can hit that even though all of that orchestration that I just talked about is happening in half the time, and that's milliseconds.
He's fast. He's on the island.
Fast release, not quick release.
You convinced me. Impressive honking. Drake May not eligible. Jacoby Brissett is a no.
No.
So whichever Patriot. Aaron Rodgers is a weird one. I actually thought Aaron Rodgers would be a relatively easy no at this point because he's at a prove it season for me, not just because he's coming off of such a serious injury, although that's into it, but because he didn't play that well the last season that he was healthy. So I'm not just rubber stamping Aaron Rodgers onto this island when I've seen guys like Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins outplay him the last couple of years, and they didn't make it on the island, so he's a big fat no.
He's a big fat yes.
Ooh.
You are seriously telling me you're taking Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers right now?
For who would deserve to be on this island? Yeah. Show it to me. Everyone's excited because he's winning in practice and everything. He struggled in 2022.
Hall of Famer who got hurt.
I get it, but he played through the injury in 2022, and he played worse than Geno Smith that year. So that was the last time they were both on the field together. I don't want to make it about Geno. What I mean is, like, I think if you really look at his 2022 season, he would not have been one of the top 12 quarterbacks. He wasn't top 12 in any possible metric that you could use, whether it was PFF, whether if it was QBR, DVOA, like in my eyeballs. He was good that year, but not great. My eyeballs
The Gregg
are a
Rosenthal
metric.
eyeball metric.
So he's got to prove it. You're the deciding vote here, Jordan.
I know, and I got to tell you, I had him as a yes, but Greg, I think you convinced me on a no.
There we go.
Oh,
But Steve, I'm giving you. Do we have time, Steve, for one more? Do you have any? Could you pull me back to your side here? Is there any?
I mean,
I love being wooed.
No, my whole
guys.
whole thing is very simple. I mean, last year, they won 7 games.
Yeah.
With Joe Donut and Jack Rabbit playing quarterback, right? If Aaron Rodgers was healthy, they're going to the playoffs in a very tough AFC. But Greg is thinking, that Aaron's going to come in there and have a 1-to-1.
No, I think he'll be fine.
Ratio.
I think he'll be fine. I mean, I don't think it's.
I mean, I'm just sitting here. I mean, maybe
I can see Greg starting to.
maybe I'm
wobble a little
bedazzled by my Hall of.
I mean, I don't think it's cool that you just called Tim Boyle Joe Donut or
Oh,
Trevor Simeon.
yes, I
Or
Or
have.
like Tim
And-
Horton, am I right? Oh,
Tim?
donut
No.
joke. Donut joke.
Yeah, no, I have no. Come on.
The only reason I would put him on right now is because he'd be a fun guy to kick off later. But that's about
What
the reason
is
to put
up?
him
You're
on.
such a Patriots fan.
No,
Please
I'm
tell
just
me
having
it's
fun.
like-
All right, I'm putting him on.
What?
Yes, thank you.
I might kick him off later, but I'm putting him on.
All right, we just put 3 in from that division. That means we have 9. It's gonna get
We have
real crowded. Lamar Jackson is on.
Yes, on.
Joe Burrow is on.
Yes.
Okay,
on.
so
All right.
now we're up
Suddenly we're up to 11. We have only 1 spot left because you
between 2 guys.
between 2 divisions and 2 guys. The Steelers don't have an option between Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. We can all say no,
No.
right?
No.
So
I think that was the.
No.
That was
It's a
wasn't
no.
that he's on? Well, either way, that's a no.
You know what
No.
though? When we hold up upside down, it does say
I
on.
flew through the first couple
I
options
did
that
go
one, so I'm
fast.
catching up on bells
Okay,
here,
thank
guys.
you.
Catching
Eric's
up.
in the studio.
We're just getting really heated. We're starting to.
we gotta pick it up.
Here's
we gotta
a
pick it
boat.
up.
I don't know who that boat is for, but there's one for you.
Steelers is a no.
There you go.
Steelers is absolutely no. Deshaun Watson, does he deserve
No.
any conversation?
Negative. No, he's not on. No quarterback or no player coming into 2024 has more of a spotlight on him than Deshaun Watson. We could talk about Aaron Rodgers or anything else. The fact that the Houston Texans have gotten fat off of the draft picks they got from the Deshaun Watson trade, and the fact that the Cleveland Browns, albeit them a playoff team, have gotten no ROI.
Okay.
Number 4, the islandless,
Yeah.
the mainland Deshaun Watson
Yeah.
is under pressure. He's not on the island.
It is just crazy. All the Browns fans and Watson, everyone's just, why are you so tough on Watson? Like, oh, you're just a hater. It's like,
That's a real split audience up there because there's a whole bunch
I'm just
of folks
saying,
up
like,
there
at
gonna
what
love him.
point have you seen anyone resembling the quarterback he was in Houston? Because as much as I don't like it, if you saw that quarterback for about 3 straight weeks, everyone like me would shut up. They would
Would you
have
like
to. They wouldn't.
back?
They wouldn't
Yeah.
like it, but they would have to. But that quarterback hasn't been there, so
No.
yeah, we don't need to talk about it. CJ Stroud, does he take any conversation, or is he already just like obviously on there? I think.
Yeah, he is, but we're gonna have to now kick someone off.
Yeah,
No,
he's
we're
on.
up to 12, so
He's
Well, we
on.
haven't got. Have we? Oh wait.
we're at 12. So he's
Oh, I
the
didn't
last
circle
one
the
on.
first one. Oh,
Yes.
I panicked for a second.
CJ should be number 12 on my count, right?
Thank you. So
Yes,
we're
he's
up to
12.
CJ, and that was part of the reason I did not want to put Rodgers on, was because I knew the
Okay, so
numbers are getting there.
okay, so right now we basically have
We have 12 guys.
3 candidates, possibly 4, who are on the inflatable slide on the aircraft.
Okay, so let's go through the teams that are remaining. The Tennessee Titans have Will Levis.
No,
Stop taking hits on the goal line. That's a no across the board, obviously. Trevor Lawrence is
for
an
me. I love him.
interesting no to me.
yeah, I love him though. I think he's going to be a hell of a player.
I wish he. I wish. he
But he's not
different
there.
offense.
It's a disappointment
I'd
that
love to see him on a different team.
I would
Throwing
too.
that out there.
I would too.
really.
Yeah.
I would too.
I'm not putting it all on the team.
I'm not putting it all on the team either. I think a change of change would be at some point fine for all parties involved. Team, quarterback, like
Wow.
just get a different system,
Interesting.
get some different juice, get just different
Little
getting different
quiet
building
Doug
around.
Peterson heat I'm picking up from Jourdan without her saying it. So that's interesting. I just think it's crazy that we all agree that Trevor Lawrence entering year, what is this,
He's going to 5th year.
5, is not top 12 to us.
Show me something.
I mean, he showed something. He's above the Dalton
Okay,
line.
show me more
He's
than
not
that
on the
something.
island. He's in a special.
He is above the Dalton line. We there's no argument about that. The Dalton
Right.
line is like the safe little like raft zone for the if you're off
It's like the
island,
Bermuda Triangle that's between the Dalton line and not on the
But it's a
island.
safe
like
place.
this weird
It's
zone
not a
where
place-
him and Kirk Cousins are hanging out.
It's not a place where you disappear though. It's a safe area. It's like redemption
Okay.
house almost. You're not on the island, but you are ahead of the Dalton line. That's where we pull from to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Anthony Richardson is a no
No.
right now just because
Yeah.
we got to see it.
Right.
The Raiders clearly don't. We're going to go to the AFC East and AFC West to wrap up. The Raiders clearly don't have a quarterback, whether
No.
it's Minshew or O'Connell. You eliminated Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I was-
He'll be
I
working
don't
his
like
way
the
on here.
accusation in
I
your
wasn't-
voice.
Wasn't sure about that executive
Let's
decision.
just wait for
Rookies
this.
and injuries.
Let's wait for this injury to play out.
Glad
I
McConkey's going to have 100 catches.
I think Caleb Williams deserves to be on this island.
I think he and Justin
they still
Herbert
talk
will
about
be on this island.
You keep saying, "Oh, all these people will be on these." Well, they can't all be on the island. The island's an exclusive place.
Well, some of these guys are going to,
We will be removing people.
Okay, Bo Nix is or Jarrett Stidham is not an option. So we're really just
What
down
about
to
my guy,
Mahomes.
Zach Wilson.
Oh yeah, that was going down. I'm kicking your Zach Wilson take on this show from 4 weeks
Yeah.
ago off the island.
Yeah, let's change.
Can we punt it into space?
It's gone. So yeah, we got Mahomes, and he's definitely going on. And you're right. I guess we only got to
What?
13. Now I just, the listeners are out
Mahomes.
there, and they know that Gino's on my island. Caleb's on my
All right.
island.
Okay. So are we safe? Are we safe
So
to
Greg-
make the argument that the slippery slope guys,
Okay, so we only have to kick one guy off.
Jared
now.
Goff, Jordan Love,
I don't think Jordan.
Tua,
Yeah,
or
Purdy.
come on, we can't.
Tua.
Brock can't be on the fence like that.
I don't think Jordan Love is on the fence.
I don't
to
think
me.
Jordan Love's on the
Okay.
fence.
So because just the physical skill set
Also,
is
it's like
too,
such a great name.
too overwhelming. So Mahomes is on. We now have 13 guys on, and I hate to do this for the first time in the history of QB. And this will be the first time and the only time ever that we populate it from scratch. From now on, they're hanging out there. They're having bingo night.
Until they're not.
Yeah, they're having the night where they get to what do they say when you bring in your wife? Conjugal visits, like in jail, they bring on the significant others, come onto the island.
Quarterback Island is a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Open to all.
No, I know, but it's like, but one guy has to get kicked off.
So we're playing White Lotus here.
Little bit.
So-
Everything's fine until it's super not.
Okay. So Purdy, I'm gonna say Purdy has to stay on.
He's got.
What do you think?
I think Purdy has
So
to
it's
stay
down
I'm
to
saying
Rodgers, Tua, and Jared Goff. Can we agree at least those are the three
I
guys
would
that
agree
are
with that.
candidates?
I would agree with that, and to me, I'm going to go ahead and just Jared Goff of those guys would be the guy I have to pull.
Why is that?
I'm not pulling Tua, and I'm not pulling Aaron Rodgers. When you look at this list as of right now, he's the only. Well, him and Mahomes is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but
It's not about the Hall of Fame though.
it's not about the Hall of Fame.
It's about you said it at the top of the show. What is it to be a quarterback right now?
Yeah, who
defining-
defines the position?
Okay, so let me throw this out there. If you're looking at our candidates on there, who is the most likely of these guys are not likely to not win an MVP or at least be in the MVP conversation
This year?
Well, and let's say with Jared Goff, Tua, or Aaron Rodgers, which one of those three is most likely to not be an MVP competition?
I don't know, because I actually
That's a
think
tough question.
it
I
is
don't
a
know
good
if I have
question.
like an obvious answer. I feel like we have to eliminate
Because
like
remember,
Rodgers
Tua,
versus one of those guys makes sense, but we should decide between Tua and Goff who's safe. Because to me, they're kind of in the same category. I think that's the first thing.
But like Tua was in that conversation for like 12 weeks last year. Jared Goff was in it for like maybe 1 or 2. And I mean, this is last year solely. And again, this is painful because I love Jared, but I mean, I'm just saying.
I think we got to decide before we decide between the three. We have to decide between Tua and Goff who's safe. Because to me, those two are in the same category. The system and kind of what their ceiling has been.
Really
and so I think we have to say one of those two is safe, and then just decide between them and Rodgers who is getting kicked off. I don't have a strong take. I lean towards Tua because if I was starting a team, I feel like I love watching Jared Goff spin the ball, and I actually think I would prefer to have Goff. I just feel a little more comfortable with Jared Goff than Tua, but I could be convinced. What do you think?
Oh man, this is tough. The inventor of the game suddenly finds Sophie's choice. Oh my God. I gotta say, if I'm building an offense, I would really want to build it the way the Lions have built their team. I love all the speed that Miami has. I stand by my take. Look at Steve's face.
No, I'm listening.
dying.
No, I'm interested in this because I know. I know.
I feel like myself shrinking in my
I know. I'm reading. I'm
I'm
reading.
building
Jordan.
the alliance.
No,
Let's go.
No. Here's how Jordan's thinking. Okay, 22 offense. They run 2 tight, 2 tailbacks, and they're going to throw a go pattern to Amon-Ra St. Brown out of a run formation. That's how she's thinking right now.
that's
So
really
that's
is.
exactly what
that
you're-
literally is what my brain was doing. You're the best, Steve. Okay, so I am, and if it comes down to me over, I have to think about the durability factor. I love for Tua that he is healthy. I love for Tua that he came back from some horrible stuff,
Yes.
mentally and physically. I love that for him. Jared Goff came back from some horribly mental stuff as well. Jared Goff has improved over time, particularly when he has been at the correct pace with the team growing around him, with the OC, with the protection. He is. I'm not going to punish either of these guys for succeeding with the players around them and also everyone lifting each other in many, many ways. Jared Goff with the durability, I think I got to lean toward Jared Goff staying because of that durability.
Okay, good argument. So I'm out. So Tua is off, but I'm keeping Tua on because if Tua got to play 13 games in domes, which Jared Goff gets to do this year,
I love it.
Tua's going for 5,000.
Okay, so I think we've determined, and I didn't feel that strong about this.
I'd rather have Tua.
I think we've you'd rather have Tua.
Off
No.
or on?
Guys, let me. Greg's face. I said over time, I'd rather have if we're
Who's on QB Island, Jourdan?
Jared. I already said Jared's
Okay.
on.
Yeah, you guys
QB
got
Island.
Goff, Tua. So Tua.
But Tua's on
the
QB
fringe.
Island
So
in my heart.
what we've determined, Jared Goff is on QB Island. He's staying on QB Island. To find out who does get thrown off the island, come back right after the break. We are back on QB Island. And frankly, we had to get back quickly before Steve made any more politicking and trading votes
No.
and feelings are getting
On
hurt.
the Capitol, it's called whipping votes, man.
And we've determined Jared Goff, I believe, is
He's
safe,
in.
safely
Jared Goff
on
is
the
safe
island.
on the island.
And it's down to Aaron
For
Rodgers
now.
and Tua Tagovailoa. And before, we do determine who's getting kicked off and who gets to start the season on QB Island. This is going to be something we revisit often during the season. We're going to talk on the show. I think Tuesdays would be a great day for it. It won't be, maybe not every Tuesday, but pretty semi-regularly. We'll revisit who deserves to come onto the island, who deserves to get kicked off the island. It'll be our way of kind of talking about the quarterback position.
I have a question about QB Island.
Yes.
So we're going to dwindle this down at all? So there's going to be less spots on? We can't have 12 the whole season,
don't
right?
give-
So
don't
got
give
to.
away
Yeah, we
any-
can.
Oh.
We can have 12 spots the whole season because we will be adding rookies at some point.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, some point.
When you get to the
it's-
playoffs,
I-
you got to take
we
it
need to
down
crown
like
somebody a
8.
winner, right?
I don't know if
Kinda
it's
deal?
a winner. Like, I do think you've hit upon possible twists that we can add during the season.
Right.
That
This
at
is like
some
the
point we need to
NCAA
kick a few
playoff.
people
Yeah, something.
off.
We're starting at 12.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
We're whittling it down like the NCAA playoff.
I don't think we're gonna whittle it to 1 or anything,
Make it to 4.
but I do think it doesn't have to stay 12 forever. The key is we have to surprise Jourdan and not tell her about it. ahead.
Make it
Just
harder.
kidding.
I love how this is
Greg
spun
can't
on
wait.
me.
Greg cannot wait till
No,
Geno
I'm just
Smith
kidding.
makes this list.
Yeah, we're
Greg's
we're
building Geno Island.
We're expanding the list. He'll earn his spot. Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa. I guess there's only room for one right now. And shout out to Jared Goff just for making it. This is a nice career achievement.
Been through a lot.
He has been through a lot. I don't have a hot take here because I wasn't really in favor initially of either of these guys making. I had a couple people ahead of them. I had Caleb ahead of them. I had Geno ahead of them. I had Kirk Case here, Jourdan.
I know I argued for this earlier. As we kept talking, though, I just kept going back to, Kirk's streakiness was the reason why, and the Achilles together were the reason why I did not put him on quarterback island plus the age. The Achilles, if I used it, I'm almost like, is it not fair? If I used it for one to reason with one older quarterback, and they're not in the same category of talent. They're not. Steve's got that face again.
No, I'm listening.
and if they're not in the same caliber of talent, Kirk and Aaron. But if I was going to argue an Achilles recovery and return for one, then it's almost like unfair for me.
You won't even let poor Justin Herbert get on. Yeah, he's just
I
out
feel
a
like
couple weeks.
I'm trying to create rules for quarterback island when it's going to devolve into pure nebulosity. Is that a word? Probably
It is
not.
now.
Pure chaos. And
Pure
look,
chaos.
Steve acts all nice. He is nice. But, to me, my Geno is his Tua. So he's just like sticking up
Well,
for
no,
his,
my
his
thing
guy.
is, my
To
thing
me,
is,
Rodgers defines a position more. If I had to choose, I'd probably keep Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think he
I
defines-
mean, to me, if it's between those two, I'm keeping Aaron Rodgers. The guy's got how many MVPs? He's got a Super Bowl championship. And now I know you made the durability argument against Tua. Well, he's been healthier than Aaron Rodgers the past.
yeah.
But at the same time, I would have Tua on instead of Jared Goff. But I
That's
can't
fair.
put Tua ahead of Aaron Rodgers. I cannot do that.
I think that's a well reasoned. That's rational. I would probably say
Wow.
I'd probably say I'll go with Steve on this. Aaron Rodgers over Tua, but again,
Oh, I thought we were getting Goff off the island.
if you want to reopen it,
We don't have time. Well, this is the initial. This is the initial 12.
Look, there's only 3 of us. We're the only voters. Who are you voting off the island? Tua, Goff, or Aaron Rodgers?
Goff. I already told you that.
What
But
about you?
I got voted down.
I thought I had created an alliance that was unstoppable.
You go first, Greg.
Well, now I'm confused. I'm voting Tua off.
I'll vote Tua off as well.
All good.
But
All good.
Tua will be back on. I guarantee it.
You've said that about
She's got like four
different-
people coming on, so
different
this is list. So Kyler Murray's going to be on, Jourdan.
I said I'm excited for him to play his way
Justin
on.
Herbert's going to be on.
I don't think Rodgers stays there the whole year.
Okay, real quick. Who?
I'm changing my vote. I'm going back to my list. I'm voting Rodgers off out of those three.
So now we're
stalemated.
We're stalemated. Only 11.
So
All right.
let's go back to where. So we're now Tua and Rodgers.
I'm gonna flip flop like a freaking fish right now.
Don't you do it. Don't you do
I'll
it.
vote Rodgers off.
Oh,
Get rid of him.
Tua can come on.
wow. Wow.
I'm porpoising.
I clearly would
Wow.
do terrible on Survivor. I don't know how to play this game whatsoever.
Okay, real
I
quick.
kind of lost the plot like half.
But
I
real
don't
quick,
really know what's going on.
Of like the borderline people we
Yes.
said could work their way back on. Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Trevor Lawrence,
Rodgers. Well,
Rodgers. Who's going to be the first one to work his way
Mm.
on?
between Rodgers and Kyler,
Mm.
Okay.
we're putting them in the safe raft.
What about with Kirk Cousins in there too?
I think Caleb's going to have a chance. I think Gino's going to have a chance. It's almost harder to get on the island to start with than it will be to kick off because it's going to be hard once we get there to.
I
kick
think
him
Kirk
off.
Cousins will be on.
It was a big moment for
I think
Tua.
Kirk Cousins, he's got a better team than those other guys.
What
Well, Gino's got a good team.
what a first episode of QB Island. Do you feel satisfied? I know we got a little confused there at the end.
I feel scared.
George's in knots right now. She's thinking about like 22 personnel. She's thinking about everything going on. She's in knots right now.
The final list of the players
Turns out Quarterback Island is my personal hell.
on Quarterback Island: Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my gosh. That's a hell of a list. That's a freaking good list.
It's a hell of a list that we're leaving Justin Herbert and Aaron Rodgers off, but I'm looking forward
Or
to discussing.
Justin Herbert's
Quarterbacks-
not on it because he has a
Yeah, I get
nebulous
it.
injury, Greg.
And
Stop
it's-
sending people after me.
It's not a ranking. Jordan wanted to be sure this is not a ranking. We're not ranking them. She doesn't like rankings, but this was a fun other way. I appreciate you guys for being here in the Chris Wesseling podcast studio. Got a message from one of Chris's great friends, Rosie Laney, today. It was 14 years ago today. She had put on her Facebook congratulating Chris Wesseling for getting a promotion at RotoWorld, which I remember. He was elevated to senior editor and their dynasty football expert. So she sent that right before we came into the Chris Wesseling
Oh, man,
podcast
that's
studio. So
great.
just thinking of Chris Wesseling today and thinking about Quarterback Island. It's a lot like Tybee Island.
I like Tybee Island.
They got
Yes.
Huckapoos. Yes to
Yes,
Quarterback Island. We will see you next time on NFL Daily.